Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
Hi, I'm DKWILL, and this is DK. We'll talk about it. And I'm going to cover this article here, but I'm also going to show some information from the Q4 report for XRP in regards to locked and unlocked escrow as well. But covering the article, it's yesterday's article. Hi, Bogey. Believe it or not, he's been quiet all this time until I started talking. The Ripple giant releases another billion XRP from escrow after a major shift in its own rules. And what I thought when I looked at this article was how they tend to it seems they're trying to put a negative slant on Ripple, a measure of distrust to the unbeknown public, those who are not really in tune to what's going on. Those of us who are know that they regularly unlock a billion XRP on a monthly schedule, and that up until Jed Caleb finished unloading his, it was under some type of agreement, and now they can continue the process, but not under the similar agreement, because he unloaded Jed, that is, unloaded all his. But this article says that 1 billion were unlocked, and Ripple allegedly raised Circle acquisition bid to 20 billion. Now, if you do the math with a $2 price on XRP and you release 1 billion XRP, there's your 2 billion of the 20 billion, right? But that's not the case. It says the prominent blockchain sleuth, Well Alert, which regularly monitors astounding cryptocurrency transfers and then reveals the details on its X account, has spotted 3 mammoth crypto transactions today, carrying 1 billion XRP cumulatively. Okay, now, without reading the whole article, let's go down here. It says the 3 transactions detected by the above mentioned data source moved 200 million, 300 million, 500 million. Add them up, you got a billion. The largest one, carrying the $500 million, was marked as initiated by Ripple, so they claimed it. And the data showed that the other 2 chunks were released from the escrow by the same entity. Okay, so it was a 1 billion coin escrow release. And then it does go on to say, as usual, the traditional monthly 1 billion XRP release was split into several transactions. Nothing new here, several transfers. The new thing here is that Ripple unleashes this staggering amount of XRP not on the first, but on the 3rd day of a new month. I explained that as we got started. And another new thing here is that Ripple locks 700,000 XRP in escrow before releasing the 1 billion, not after, as it was before. So, one hand washes the other. They put 700 million in and then took a billion out, as opposed to taking a billion out and putting 700 billion in. Now, there could be reasons for that, reasons that we just would have to guess. And it says, as always, 700 million is locked up on the first day of each new month. But now this money does not come from the freshly unlocked 1 billion XRP stash. So in other words, XRP doesn't have a use for them, so they put them back in escrow. And all they really have to do is wait another month if they're going to get some more from escrow, right? It says by releasing a giant amount of XRP every month, Ripple supports XRP's liquidity in the market by selling part of it on exchanges to use the proceeds for covering its regular operational expenses. Besides, the company injects XRP into its Ripple payments network and provides its institutional partners with additional XRP. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. And if you like the content I'm providing, please make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, and then come back for more DK Will Talk About It. Because even though XRP is a private company, they still do quarterly reports like a public company. And the Q4 report from 2024, the last quarter of last year, was released on January 31st, 2025, which is relatively quick release. Covers the information I just shared with you, and a lot more information as well, as you can see. Maybe we'll talk about that, maybe we won't. But it talks about the XRP holdings right here. And it says XRP holdings at the beginning of the quarter and last quarter. Its holdings fall into 2 categories: XRP that it currently has available in its wallets, in other words, XRP that the company owns in its wallet that's not an escrow and it's liquid. We'll call it just like your wallet, that you may have XRP in your wallet. And then XRP that is subject to an on-ledger escrow lockups that will be released each month over the next 42 months. Why over 42 months? Because I guess because it's 42 billion. Pretty close, right? When you add these two up down here. But nonetheless, it says for this latter category, Ripple does not have access to that XRP until the escrow releases it to Ripple on a monthly basis. The remaining XRP release is put back into escrow each month. So there's nothing really new here. Could there be some type of agreements going on that dictate why it was done differently? Yes, of course, of course. But is it anything underhanded? No, it's not underhanded because they're not on an obligation to, report this to us anyway. But they do. It says, note, from time to time, Ripple supports and transfers to third parties such as exchange traded products. Now do the math, folks. There are so many applications out there for exchange traded products, and they have to own it. They have to own it unless it's an index. For them to be able to offer you an exchange traded fund, they have to have it in the fund. It says trusts and other investments. XRP that Ripple reasonably expects to maintain in its holdings. When doing so, a reduced amount of XRP may be returned to escrow that month. Until and unless Ripple expects such XRP to enter the broader market through, for example, further transfers to third parties, that XRP is included in the XRP held by Ripple. And in December 31st, total XRP held by Ripple went up from September, which makes sense with a few releases in between from escrow, right? And the total escrow on the on ledger remained relatively steady. Looks like 870 million of them came out. Now, if they released on October 1st, and then on November 1st, and then on December 1st, that would have been a $3 billion decline. And we didn't see a $3 billion decline because they put it back in there. Interestingly, another thing I saw that I found interesting was the XRP burn for transactions over quarter three and quarter four added up to more than a billion. I mean, more than a million. I'm sorry, I said a billion. And I probably said millions and billions, but you see the numbers in front of you too. So, I get them mixed up sometimes. But that's 1 point, looks like 1.3 million were burned for transaction fees. And so the reason I'm highlighting that one particular point is because the price is going to have to go up. The price is going to have to go up to protect the supply. And here you can see the average price was 55 in quarter three, went all the way up to $1.43 in quarter four. But at the same time, the transactions went down. See here? And the average cost per transaction went up. So I don't know what the reasons for that is, but the number of wallets went up significantly. So yeah, if it's going to be it's going to have to go up in price. It's going to have to go up in price to slow the burn. And what do I mean by that? Well, if it's twice as expensive as it is now, then it takes half as many to burn to do the job. Back to the article. It says Ripple allegedly raises Circle acquisition bid to 20 billion. XRP Army denies this rumor. I think we've graduated from the XRP Army to the XRP family because the fight, at least the fight against the SEC, is over. So now it's the XRP family. And it says earlier this week, it was reported that Ripple offered to buy Circle, the issuer of the second largest USD pegged stablecoin, USDC, for 4 to 5 billion. However, the company rejected this offer, assuming that it undervalues the company. Those news reports were followed by rumors that in an attempt to reach its goal and acquire a major rival in the stablecoin market, Ripple increased its generous offer to 20 billion, still intending to buy Circle. Well, that goes in harmony with a video that I was watching that I wanted to be able to add to this video, but I can't get the sound that right. It starts out talking and it disappears. You can't hear what they're saying. So I apologize for that. I'll figure it out. I've had that problem before and I figured it out. So I kind of feel like I can figure it out again. So XRP is moving some, Ripple, is moving some XRP. It's a little different, but not much of a shocker, and not much of a concern. And so I thought I'd cover this because the way it says, as it sets new rules. Well, we don't know if it's a new rule that's been set. It's a change of behavior one time. If they don't do it next time, have they changed the rules again? So, folks, they're going to do what they can to make you not trust Ripple and not trust XRP because it is absolutely going to be probably the most valuable crypto asset on the globe. Very likely so. And when you think of how Bitcoin went up to 100,000 plus, you think of like Yearn Finance went up in the Bitcoin ranges back when it was booming. Even if you think of just something as simple as Ethereum, which is a money hog, quite honestly, it seems like it costs more to own Ethereum and use it than it does not to. So it doesn't even make sense to me. But it's still running anywhere from $1, $2, and $3,000 a coin. So it's not unheard of that Ripple's going to do the same because see, Ripple is actually doing something. And one of the things, the video that I would like to share with you that I can't is Brad Garlinghouse said they're focusing on acquisitions, and Circle is just one of them. Quite honestly, he also made a point that he was they were focused on acquisitions of infrastructure, which puts things like AMP into my mind. It puts things like Onyx into my mind. It puts things like Hedera and Quant and all those into my mind. Protocols and infrastructure. So we're about to hit it and get it, and that's all I really wanted to talk about. So I talked about it. Have a wonderful day.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.